The emerald had no idea how they survived in the desert. Or, as we learned from the name on the internet and Wikipedia, the Simpson Desert was completely devoid of life, except for animals developed specifically for its environment. Humans would not have survived. How did you survive? It's called a cave. This idiot might be able to end the genocide purge. Now learning how to stand, the airborne admiral slowly stood up, clearly showing no injuries. He heard a loud crack behind him as he felt something sticky. Banding his free wrists together, do you really want to know how we survived? Or why not find out for yourself? You think he's like the Palm tribe from 400 years ago. You think you know us. You know how to defeat us, defeat our spirit, defeat our legends and dreams, and just like them. You're dead? Upstairs? Armed smuggler Altai stares up at the door in disbelief. Tarun, in a long coat, stepped over him, where his door had been until he straightened a second ago. The smoldering body casually points Mark's rifle and pistol at him, and behind him stand two Terran aspers wearing combat armor and holding heavy assault rifles, who enter and attack the room. I was looking into it. He briefly wondered how much these weapons would sell for on the black market. Saru Toei lowered his head as he brought the S back to the here and now, thought Sarah, fidgeting. With a plate hidden behind him and an item hidden inside, if the Terran was there, he might have had a chance. Gunrunner Smuggler is wanted in his 5 worlds and has so far supplied several low-life organizations. I will not answer this question. There is no need to consider your current contract invalid. We would like to, said the lawyer, sliding his forked tongue over his lips. No, replied Tan, you are not. Ask if it can be done quickly and painlessly. In this case, you may have to wait for a long time, but the degree of distress will depend on the individual, so please refrain from waiting. Hidden compartment. I don't want any accidents, Sarah thought seriously, taking 3 steps to the side. You shouldn't be able to see the panel, but it's Turin. If we cooperate, can we at least ask about the prison planet, which you don't know about? Sir said after a few seconds. Tarun placed her pistol in a hidden holster, and she glanced at herself as rumors of Tarun's justice came to mind. Then, looking at the hidden tablet, she said, even if he achieved it, he would probably be shot before he could reach it. That might be a better option. Don't try anything drastic. I think this is a very clear way to attract new employers, Turan said when he came between Mr. S and the committee. S blinked and looked at himself, then at Turan and their weapons. You want us to work for you? Yes, you have no choice. He blinked again, and in disbelief, he stared at Azur's heavy armor and rifle. However, Terran weapons are the most popular in this category. Why do we need a small gun runner? We can't offer you anything more. The Terran curled his lips upward, showing his fangs in the light shining through the ruined door. We know, and that's why we want you to give weapons to the people we want, not the people who pay for them. Third story. Not these people. Zad once again took time to enjoy the warm sun and the breeze that carried the scent of sweet monarch flowers from inland. He fell in love with this place when he was only 13 years old and always wanted to live here. There, he took a chance to work as a gardener at one of the resorts near the inland sea. He rose through the ranks from gardener to housekeeping to security to front desk and finally approached the resort briefly as night manager. His bow noticed that the ambient noise level was much higher than normal. No, Zad thought to himself. Please let me misunderstand. He checked the date on his watch. No, there was no way he had already picked up the pace. And as he rounded the corner, his worst fears were realized. A large group of young adults walked from his resort to the beach and rushed inside. Cybergs was working. At the front desk, he had only been working here for 30 minutes before BRX greeted us. Zad blurted out, "Did you check these people on BX?" Nod? Of course. Zato's desperate expression confused me. He continued, "Am I doing something wrong? Is this all you checked?" asked Zad in his mind. "If it's everyone, we might be okay." BRX didn't answer, completely confused by Zad's attitude. How many people at this age are sick to their stomachs, afraid of the answer? BX checked the terminal before responding. "We have almost reached capacity." So, at 63 years old, you ask why Zad continued to be interrogated. Did they have alcohol? BX took a moment to answer. I couldn't see anything. Zad breathed a sigh of relief before BX asked. They had some small barrels. Zato covered his face with his hands, and Barks didn't know what to think as the usually calm Zato looked like he was about to panic at any moment. Zad, you? Well, something is wrong. BX asked aloud with increasing anxiety. Zad shook his head. This is not your responsibility. You weren't here last cycle. There was resignation in his voice. Zad went on to add that these young people are leaving human-level education, calling their universities BX, and silently muttering unknown words to themselves. They come from several universities and usually prefer to come to warm places with sunny beaches and lots of water. They call it spring break when their season in the crib world ends. They come for recreation and consume large quantities of a human drink called beer. Brooks replied that that was a bad thing. With a deep sigh, Zat said that when he gets drunk, he gets louder and louder, and he can do all kinds of stupid things. A fire full of curiosity. Brooks replied that before Zad could tell him. A naked man ran through the lobby and out the front door. I was just watching BX like he likes running around naked. But other than that, BX couldn't believe what he just saw. Zato started to say something when he heard a loud crash coming from the heated pool outside. The two ran to the door that led there. There was a pile of rubble on the patio that was once one of the guest room chairs. Zad held himself up very high. He calls housekeeping and has a guard go to the room where the window was broken. Zad scratched his chin, and all we can do is throw him. Zad shook his head and thought to himself, until this is over, he'll go back to being a gardener. Kana. When he was on his way to his office and the two ran down the hallway and shot water at each other with so-called water guns, Zad just shook his head and whispered. I muttered.